The finished puzzle's supposed to match the picture on the box, and life is supposed to work out the way you drew it up. But neither one of those things is actually guaranteed. And so today, let's talk about what happens when you build something with all of your heart, and it still doesn't turn out the way you imagined. And what are you actually supposed to do about that? Welcome to Piece by Piece. I'm Brian, and this channel is all about rebuilding when life falls apart. Each episode, we work on a puzzle, and we talk about one aspect of rebuilding. Today, we're going to talk about what happens when expectations don't exactly line up with reality. My kids love thrifting, and thrift stores end up with a lot of puzzles. But if you do buy a puzzle from a thrift store, you don't actually know what's inside until you're building it. Meaning, sometimes what's on the box and what's inside the box are not the same at all. And if we're honest, most of us have experienced this trick in our lives in some form or fashion. Somewhere along the way, we drew up a picture of our perfect life, thinking this is what a good life looks like if I just do it all right. But most of us never stopped to consider whether what we were picturing was even real, was even possible, was even true. You plan for it, you work for it, you do all of the things that are actually within your control to the best of your ability. And sometimes you still don't get what you pictured. I used to think that meant that I did something wrong. I don't think that anymore. Most things in life don't come with a guarantee, no matter how careful you are. You know what I actually think most of life is at this point? You make a plan. You work really hard at it. And then something happens that is completely outside of your control. A job disappears. A diagnosis happens. A marriage or relationship comes to an end. You come to some fork in the road that you never asked for. And you pivot. Not because it's what you want to do, but because what other options are left? I found this out the hard way, with something that I built for real, something that I gave everything to. There's a psychologist named Ronnie Janoff-Bullman who spent years studying what happens to people after their lives get upended. Accidents, loss, disaster. What she found was that most of us walk around with three assumptions that we never really question or examine. The first is that the world is basically fair. The second is that good things happen if you do the right things. And the third is that you personally are someone that bad things simply don't happen to. And of course, no one's running around saying these things out loud, but they are underneath everything. They're load-bearing, if you will. And I may not like to admit it, but I think I believed those things too. A few years before my entire life fell apart, I called my entire staff into a room, and I told them the truth. That I could see trouble ahead. The kind of trouble that might not be survivable. I told them that if they wanted to leave now, that I would help them, that I'd get them back on their feet, that I'd help them out with a severance, maybe a good word somewhere. No hard feelings. I understood what was coming. I'd say about half of the room took that offer. And the other half stayed. And we built anyway for the next 2.5 to 3 years. It was real work. A building project that got approved by the city. Programs that were actually changing things for actual people. That work was real. Genuinely some of the best work that I've ever done. Done by people who believed, same as I did, that if we kept pressing on, that if we did it right, that it would somehow endure. And I want to be clear that I wasn't cutting corners or being lazy and ignoring red flags. I was actually just doing everything the picture on the box told me to do. I kept building, but somewhere in that time, I stopped believing that the project would actually survive. I don't think I was hiding from reality. I just didn't want to even admit that to myself. It's difficult to explain to somebody who hasn't lived this yet, but you don't wake up one day and just see things clearly. That's what optimism can do. And I don't think it's a flaw, because hope is the thing that gets you out of bed and back into the next meeting room. But it can also be the exact thing standing between you and what's actually real. Somewhere along the line, I noticed that a piece didn't match what was on the lid. But I kept building anyway, because by then, stopping felt like giving up on something that I'd already given everything to. Eventually, everything that I just told you caught up with me. And I landed somewhere that I could have never pictured. In an apartment of my own, with most of my life still packed in boxes. I remember that first night alone vividly. There was no kids running around, no TV on, just quiet. The kind of quiet you don't really want to get used to. There is a researcher named Pauline Boss who studied something she called ambiguous loss. Sort of a grief with no edge to it. Nobody died. There was no funeral. No single date where you could point and say, this is exactly where it ended. It just keeps being unfinished. Does that make sense to anyone? It didn't really to me either at first. But eventually I came to the conclusion that you are allowed to keep building something even if it's open-ended. Even if you know that you may not make it across the finish line. I don't have a tidy answer for that one. I'm still working on it myself. And, as usual, I have questions. But I can't answer them for you. The first is, what were you expecting your life to look like? Not vaguely. Get specific. The house, the job, the relationship, the career, the version of yourself that you dreamed you would be. The second question is, when did you realize that life wasn't going to look like that? Was there a single moment you can point to? A diagnosis? A phone call? A door closing? Or did it creep up on you much slower, like it did with me? And the final question, what are you going to do with what you actually have? This is the pivot question. Not, how do I get back to the plan that I already had? That plan is gone. But rather, what are you building with what's actually in front of you right now? And while the first two questions are worth sitting on, this third question is the one that you can actually act upon. And with all three questions, I hope that you'll understand yourself a little better. I used to think the goal was to get the picture that I planned for. I don't believe that anymore. And Genoff Bonham and Pauline Boss's research, they circle the same thing from two different directions. That the assumptions that we build a life on can break, and some of what breaks doesn't fully mend. Neither of them is telling you to stop hoping. They're just simply stating that the picture on the box was never guaranteed. It was simply one possibility. Not the same picture that was on the box. Not even close. But I do think that it's safe to say that though it may not have been what I was hoping for or expecting, it is probably healthier. And look, I still don't know what the rest of my life looks like. I'm still figuring out who my people are, what my purpose is, where my place is in this world. But I have decided to lean into the pivots, and I hope you will too. We started today by doing a puzzle that did not live up to what the box promised. Most of us are living that out in some form or fashion. We build a life, we work hard at it, and for some reason, it still doesn't turn out like we pictured it. You might call that a failure, but I began to call it a pivot point, a chance to see where life actually takes you, even if it's not exactly what you had planned. Thanks for watching. If this episode found you at the right moment, I'd be grateful if you'd share it with someone else who's rebuilding. And in the comments tell me, what's one thing that didn't turn out the way you pictured it? One word is fine. I'll respond to as many as I can. Oh, and one more thing. If you're in crisis right now, please don't wait. Call or text 988 for the National Suicide Prevention Line, or text HOME to 741-741 for the crisis text line. These resources are here for you, and you don't have to do this alone. Until next time, let's keep rebuilding, piece by piece.